All right, now let's see how we can use a generic class to solve this problem. So right after the class name, we type angle brackets, and in between the brackets, we type one or more generic type parameters. We can call this parameter T or anything we want, but T is a very common name because the idea comes from C++. In C++, we refer to these classes as template classes. So generic classes in TypeScript are the same as template classes in C++. And T is short for template, okay? So we defined a generic type parameter. Now we go in the constructor and change the type of key from number to T. And then when we create a key value pair object, once again, we type angle brackets. Look, we have a generic type parameter. So now we need to supply a value or an argument for this parameter. Now, if we type number and then open parentheses, look, we can see key is a number. In contrast, if we use string, now we can see key as a string. So let's apply a couple of values like 1 and a. Now if we type pair.key. Look, we can see all the properties and methods of string objects. So we get type safety and IntelliSense, and we haven't duplicated our code. We have one generic and reusable class, but we're not done yet. In this example, we have only made the key generic, but we can also make the value generic as well. So we add a second generic type parameter. We can call that one U or anything we want. Another way to name these is T key and T value, or we can just use K and V. There's really no right or wrong. Different people like different naming conventions. So I'm going to go with K and V because they're pretty short and self-explanatory. So now we change the type of key to K and value to V. Now, when creating a key value pair object, we need to supply two generic type arguments. So we can use string or number or person or any kind of object for the value. This is the beauty of generics. Now, what if we don't supply the generic type arguments here? The compiler can infer the type of the key and the value. So because we have passed two strings here, the compiler knows that both key and value are string objects. So most of the time, we don't have to explicitly supply generic type arguments. The compiler can infer them for us. So this was generic classes. Next, we're going to talk about generic functions.